The Doghouse Cup Series is proud to be sponsored by Shoney's. Shoney's is today's all-American kitchen, open daily for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Shoney's guests can count on quality, delicious food along with warm, friendly service. Stop by one of West Virginia's locations to try their freshly prepared legendary breakfast bar, and don't forget to take home a whole strawberry pie. Shoney's, delicious food and friendly service since 1947. Good evening, everybody. SimTraX Broadcasting coming to you live across Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. The Doghouse Racing League started the season at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and many new drivers got a rude awakening when they saw the level of driving skill that these drivers, the returning drivers, brought. Johnathan Jennings put on a clinic at that 2.5-mile track and really schooled the rest of the field with tire savings and the fuel mileage, bringing home his first win of the season. But can he do that tonight at none other than Chicagoland? iRacing has scanned this beautiful track to what you see here today, but unfortunately has been closed for used what they say is better use. Quote, used as a parking lot for vehicles without computer chips. Nevertheless, this track built at $130 million has seen better days. The track is the track that really never truly straightens on any of the front or backstretch has had many victors from the back of the field, such as Dale Jr. from 25th, Tony Stewart from 19th, and to this day, farthest back was 32nd place, and that was set by Kevin Harvick. So definitely all the way from the back. Once again, appreciate you guys coming to joining us here at SimTraX Broadcasting and the Doghouse Racing League. We already see that chat lighting up. Love to see it, Jamie Shaw. I will see you Sunday. Any spots for the race? Of course there is. You'll be able to head to SimTraxBroadcasting.com like you see here, and you'll be able to find exactly where to go to find the Doghouse Racing League and get signed up with these guys. Open setup tonight here at Chicagoland. It's going to be a rough, tough, and a bumpy ride for a lot of these drivers out here, so it's going to be pretty screwy out there. But let's go ahead and take a quick look at what we've got on the track and what it's going to be looking like. 100 laps is what we've got set up here for tonight, and I'm sure these guys are really got puckered up pretty bad, seeing that there are only 3 sets of tires with a 60% fuel limit. So maybe fuel might not be as big of an issue, seeing these guys might make it about that 30-35 mark, but those tires are definitely going to be tough by the way these turns bank out here on the track. You can kind of see how I was talking about there, how this track is slightly curved around each and every bend, so you're always turning. No fast repairs here in this league at all, so guys with damage, they're going to be in and out of it and really in a hurry. Big time they've got to really kind of keep an eye out for is not messing up right off the bat. Qualifying should be starting here in about another 30 seconds or so here for the night. Once again, I'd like to go ahead and thank the sponsor out there, Shoney's, for sponsoring the Doghouse Racing League. Couldn't make it happen without them. See if we can find a couple drivers out there on the track. I don't know if you guys remember a little bit of Eddie Rivers in the 15 Chevrolet. I believe him and one of the left witches got caught up in a wreck in the last race. That race just about went caution-free. It was a piece of cake out there for all of them, but Eddie Rivers looking to turn his luck around in the point standings. Let's go ahead and talk about that just for a little bit while we've got just a little bit of time, and we'll be heading to qualifying here momentarily. Johnathan Jennings is in the lead right now with 195 points. His brother Kevin Powell sitting second at 175, and Jeremiah Stutzman was 170 points. So I'm expecting some of the drivers like Justin McMahon to really show up out here. Matthew Robinson with Turn 1 Racing did very well, ended up 7th. And Daniel Wilkerson, I would say would have been a good shot tonight, but he is actually one of the starting parks tonight. He is going to be out tonight, as well as Hunter Simpson, who is 5th in the points running tonight. So a lot of little big shuffle up here. But if I were to guess, Andrew St. Coeur is going to be the one to be kind of the sleeper here. I think that number 12 Ford that we're taking a look at right here, right now, is going to be really one that's going to be kind of shuffling the field up. He's going to do what you don't expect here, and I think he might be kind of the diamond in the rough at this track. But we'll kind of take a look at how he runs out here during qualifying. See him kind of give a little wiggle there for try to see if we can get this the tires heated up here. They're very, very difficult for them to stay warm. Yeah, nice, long, sweeping track. Really a shame that they had to shut this track down. But I know there are a few other tracks that are looking to shut down as well. I hate to continue spreading the bad news here. But between this track, I know Auto Club is looking at shutting down, and I believe Michigan. But then they're also, if I'm not mistaken, taking North Wilkesboro and Rockingham, and they're actually revamping those. Rockingham is in the process of being paved as we speak, and North Wilkesboro is actually being revamped. They're going ahead and getting all the stands squared away for that. So keep an eye out for if you are a race fan and you're looking to get out there and take a look at what they do out there. Let's go ahead and see what we've got. All right, time's already getting a little mixed up here. Eddie Rivers right now sitting up top. Chris Leftwich in the second. Berger third. And Christopher Simon fourth. See if we can find Christopher Simon out there. There he is. Christopher Simon going in and finishing up his second lap. Second place for him. Let's see if we can find Matthew. There's Matthew Robinson out there. Got a couple of drivers out here still trying to hammer it down here. I know paint schemes are kind of getting a little mixed up between some of them out there. Let's see. Chris Schaefer. He's still rocking around the track. Hometown in Gainesville, Florida. Should look to be pretty slick. All right. Stella out there in the chat looking good. So far, so good. Everything looking good except that tower. I don't like how it's mixing up our top guy there. But right now, if we want to talk top guy, last lap time tied at the exact same time with a 30.07. Kevin Powell and Johnathan Jennings. Man, I'll try to smash those two words together. So right now they are running hand in hand there in the front. Mike Leftwich looked like he's sitting third. Tyler Millette in fourth. And Chris Leftwich in fifth. Yeah, Eddie Rivers, if he could stay in a solid top 10 start here, he should be feeling pretty confident on the rest of the race, because the rest of this has a lot to deal. Yeah, Kevin Powell moving down to fourth. Johnathan Jennings. There we go. I want to talk about something crazy. Just about all Chevrolets in the top. Gerber and Thompson, the only ones who are not, the only Fords that remain. The only person I don't have with a solid qualifying time just yet would be Chad Waller in the 66 Ford. Is not out yet. 25 drivers locked and loaded for this one, but we'll see if Chad Waller can get out here, if he's dealing with a little bit of technical issues out there on his Ford here tonight. About another minute left in qualifying, so he's got to really squeeze this together. If they're only 30-second laps, he's got to get on right about now. Before this is going to do him in. Now, I mean, it's going to do him in a heartbeat. Definitely difficult to start all the way from the back. Yeah, definitely interesting to see. Unfortunately, like I said, for the starting parks, right now we are looking at Hunter Simpson with the 5th place. This is going to march him back with everybody doing moving around here tonight. And then Daniel Wilkerson setting with an 11th place, and that's going to end up backwards. Diggs, by the way, 7A, what's up? How's it going, man? Definitely appreciate you joining us here at SimTraX Broadcasting. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I know we got a lot of things going on here, but one thing we do have going on is 100 laps here at Chicagoland. Should be a good one. I'm really excited to see what these guys can put on here tonight. Starting grid should be getting locked and loaded here momentarily. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Where are these guys? Here we go. Believe I see Matthew Robinson out there. Kind of a weird-looking paint job there. I wonder if this thing didn't fully load through. Eddie Rivers. No grid just yet. This league runs a 5-minute warm-up here, and this will give a guys what I would say is almost that pit party sort of deal. As these guys are able to kind of clutch back together and really everybody now gets onto the track. Everybody's able to put down some time and race side by side with one another and see what all they can do. Whoa, that might be why you see Christopher Simon sliding around there just a little bit. Kevin Powell's doing out there. definitely some interesting stuff going on here at Chicagoland. Since its opening for business in 2001, Chicagoland had been established a rich history in its first decade of operation, particularly in the IndyCar competition. In that series, renowned for its photo finishes, the IndyCar Series had produced its two closest finishes in series history, with Sam Hornish Jr. beating Al Unser Jr. By less than 24 thousandths of a second in 2002. And Catravenis piping Scott Dixon by 33 thousandths of a second in the 2008 season finale. So I'm wondering if anybody in these next gens are going to be able to squeeze this one as close as that. Definitely within the thousandths of a second. I know last week was pretty much a blowout. Jennings kind of passed Kevin Powell with about 10-15 to go and then just started leaving him right there at the end. Some of the guys I talked to out there, I know with Turn 1 Racing, they ended up with 3 laps short on fuel. I know I talked to Matthew Robinson out there with Turn 1 Racing. He said he actually ran out of fuel crossing the finish line. So how Johnathan Jennings made it is beyond me. We took a ride along with him and noticed he didn't shift out of really fifth gear. He was only in 4th gear the whole time. So I'm interested to kind of figure out how he did it. Maybe it was a gear change there in the back, but definitely with an open setup that you see how they see they're doing this. What what all this entails to see if we can get anything different on this situation here. See if we can try something a little different. Want to make sure we get 110% our paint scheme squared away. About another 2 minutes left here in the warm-up. Time's looking still pretty solid here. I know our pole getter is not on the pole. He kind of falling off a bit here. Kevin Powell trying to get some solid work in here at Chicagoland. It's going to be tough, especially with the way these cars are folding around and the way they're, kind of how it angles here. I would assume with this track leaning as much and with as much turning, it almost bowl shapes the cars in, so they should be able to hook around. But I would definitely watch turn entry here at this track. A lot of these guys, that car is going to be super tight on the way in and then try to loosen up on the way out of the turns and hopefully not smack them into the wall here. Definitely with 20 drivers side by side, that's a good amount of drivers to really, there's an option way that there could be a lot of trouble. But with these guys building these cars all week, getting these cars set up, fortunately, like I said, with this being an open setup league, it's not fixed. It's not how iRacing builds the car. Jacob Reeves, who's sitting on the top there, drives a lot differently than Jeremiah Stutzman. So, these guys are able to tune the cars to the way they feel right, the way it makes it fast. And, well, obviously the key is to be fast in the end, but it's make the car feel good to you instead of the driver conforming to the car. Now we conform the car to the driver, which is really, really nice. 15 seconds left here in the warm-up. We'll be locked and loaded and ready to go again. Got a couple of guys getting squared away out here. Not quite just yet. Justin Renstedel in the number 18. See if we can get down to that car there a little bit. Looking good. All right, that's going to get us squared away. And grid. Time for these boys to grid up. Matthew Nordberg will be first on the line. Let's go ahead and talk about them a little bit and get to your starting lineup for the night. Johnathan Jennings, win last week, gets the win here, sitting on the pole. First place, he's going to be starting on the first row on the inside next to Tyler Millette. Justin McMahon sitting third with Kevin Powell in the second row on the outside sitting fourth. Jacob Reeves fifth with Mike Leftwich sitting sixth. In row number 4, Chris Leftwich. Right behind him will be, right next to him will be Eddie Rivers. Steve Gerber sitting ninth with Kevin Thompson in the 10th position. Jason Miz sitting 11th with Matthew Nordberg. We saw him first there on the grid, getting out there already, starting 12th. Let's rotate to the second half of the field with Christopher Berger and Christopher Simon side by side in row 7. Row 8 will be Jeremiah Stutzman and Andrew St. Cour. We saw St. Cour actually ended up in a little bit of a technical issue earlier in the race. He'll be starting 16th, so hopefully he'll be able to crawl his way back up to the front. But behind him will be Matthew Robinson and Jackson Lomax, 17-18. Chris Schaefer will be the 19th position starter, and at the very end of row 10 will be David Hulsey, starting 20th. Matthew Escalera in 21st with Dustin Renstedt 22nd. Michael Samia, 23rd with Gary Armijo starting 24th, and our final driver, Chad Waller, I do not believe was able to take behind the wheel here tonight, so that is going to be it. 24 drivers locked and loaded for this track. Definitely should be a good one as we take a quick look from the outside. This is exactly what we're going to be kind of keeping an eye out for, where these guys are going to be, what happens, how they're going to fold and kind of undo for this track, what they overcome here. The amount of turning, the amount of working together, I'm expected to see a lot of different drivers kind of linking up here. I would definitely watch out for Loud Pedal Racing. Elite Southern Motorsports, they're going to be pretty tough, and I think Shoney's Racing, as soon as these guys can get linked up, should be pretty good. Shoney's Racing actually consisting of Chris and Mike Leftwich and Christopher Simon, so we'll keep an eye out for those guys. Right now, all those guys sitting 6-7 for Mike and Chris Simon sitting all the way back in 15th position. Johnathan Jennings getting ready for the green flag. Barney's ready. Throw that shoulder out, boy. Let's get her done. Green flag out. Tyler Mollett gets the jump here. I don't know if he passed before the line. Definitely got to be careful here. Johnathan Jennings regains, trying to regain some traction here as the 91 is working on the inside. Very, very tough here. But Tyler Mollett in the 94 Chevrolet sitting high. So far, so good. Right now, Tyler Mollett seeing if he can grab a hold of the lead and pull away, but not just yet. Definitely good mix-up on the track. Interesting to see some of these drivers kind of cutting down there on the bottom, slicing the track in half. Might be a good idea, especially working harder and harder along this track, how it's going to hold out. Man, what a beautiful camera angle here. So far, so good. And Tyler Mollett in the 94 Skull Candy. Yeah, Chevrolet's getting it done here so far. Good idea to keep Johnathan Jennings behind you, but Jennings definitely waits his turn, and he'll be back. Rotate back here just a little bit. Looks like Kevin Powell is going to be sitting on the outside of the number 13 of Chris Leftwich here. Only has about a fender left on him here. Oh, man, yeah, definitely coming through the backstretch. He's able to squeak just enough through. But not too much. Still, fastest times out there on the track. Tyler Mollett with the fastest time of a 30.64. A couple of these other guys are getting some faster times through some of these sections. Christopher Simon was the fastest through turn 1 and 2. But he's back there in 12th. He's moved up at least 2 positions. And Steve Gerber, fastest through section 2. He's now sitting 7th up 2 positions. Couple drivers slicing and moving around, but Eddie Rivers has fallen back 8 positions now, all the way down to the 16th position. So the woes continue, not just at Indianapolis, but he's getting a little bit here at Chicagoland. Hard to definitely keep your head on straight and stay calm. I don't know how he does it. But say we have 100 laps, he's got 95 to go. Maybe a different pit strategy or maybe a slight tweak here might help Eddie Rivers get back out to the front. Rotating up front and back to Christopher Simon, trying to see if he can keep Christopher Berger behind him here. Berger now under fire by Andrew St. Cour in the number 12. Definitely trying to keep it close here, but not too much room is being allowed. St. Cour going to hold that bottom line where Berger might want to drop down. St. Cour trying to see if he can aim for a 2-for-1 here. 12 on the bottom. Let's see if we can float a little closer here and take another look. No can do. Seems to lose a lot of speed. Now Matthew Robinson's creeping up the back end of the 12. 35, Christopher Simon drops low between 3 and 4 as they rotate through to head toward the front stretch. Drivers get started for lap number 7 here. St. Cour still on the outside of the 35 Chevrolet. No can do. Looks like Jennings, as we're watching this battle here, Jennings has fallen down to third, and Chris Leftwich of the Shoney's Racing has moved up into the second position. Right now, Chris Leftwich has moved up 5 positions here on the race. The only person who's moved up more positions than that is David Halsey, sitting 14th, has moved up 6. So far, so good out of all these drivers here at this point. I don't see anybody connecting. No one's really kind of hammering each other. No folded fenders, so plenty of room for these guys to battle it back and forth. But really love to see it. I know how Indianapolis went last week. If this goes green flag all the way to the end, I think some of these drivers are used to pitting under caution. But now green flag stops, and really that's all you're going to have. Battle for the lead here. Chris Leftwich has got it, and Tyler Millette watched it happen. Tyler Millette kind of factoring in. They'll have to fight another day. Go ahead and follow behind that number 13 Chevrolet, who's been on a tear. Chevrolet's all through the top 10 except Steve Gerber, who holds 6th. He's the only Ford out there, and he's going to continue his charge here on the outside lane, seeing if he can follow Mike Leftwich and get his way back to the front. Saying back to the front, Steve Gerber's moved up 3, looking for that 4th spot, but he's slicing around here. Lost a little bit coming out of 4. Interesting enough to see the Doghouse Racing League. These guys aren't really getting close, as close as you would think, trying to utilize some of the door draft. And maybe finding that's just not worth the risk. Steve Gerber following Kevin Powell. Kevin Powell, unfortunately, has lost a position here already in the Jimmy John's Chevrolet. Looks like we got a little bit of slicing and dicing up here. I don't know if Johnathan Jennings is trying to see if he can take a peek here on the inside, but no can do. Chicagoland definitely brings great racing out here. You definitely, you can see from every single angle here that we're taking a look at is inside line, outside line, middle line. Doesn't matter. You see it's working. It's fast for some. It's a little slower for others. And you see just how spread apart this field is, which is exactly what you want to see. It is tight racing, but man, eventually they're going to have to squeeze and come close together. And where you're seeing that squeeze is right here at the start-finish line as we begin lap 12. Less than 90 laps for this one here. I believe Kevin Thompson is battling alongside the 24 car. Have to forgive me, I do not have a 24. That may be Jason Miz out there in the 24 Chevrolet, showing me here as the 7. Definitely getting some trouble here. Let's see how we can go. Rotating up to the front. Kevin Thompson staying on the bottom in the 21 Ford Great Clips car. Boy, oh boy, yeah, I don't know. Kevin Thompson staying on this low line. It seems to be working here so far. He at least regains 10th position where he originally started. But David Halsey, right now in the 57 Chevrolet, has moved up 9 positions and doesn't seem to be slowing down at all. Maybe a bad qualifying time for him, but he's been on the charge as of late. Oh, man, I think I just saw Christopher Berger rotate up the track big time. He's got to be careful out there. Otherwise, that right front tire is going to take a whole big-time beating out there. There's one thing you don't want to do here at the Doghouse Racing League is kind of wear down your tires early, because these guys will give you kind of the war of attrition here. And hold out as long as you can. You'll be battling around out there seconds down. And they'll still be kind of cruising around. Taking a quick look here, Christopher Berger, his fastest time was a 30.68, is now running a 31.5. So almost a second drop-off here. As he's now going to watch, I believe Jason Miz on the inside of him, going to go ahead and work around. The 24 unable to carry the speed through. Christopher Berger doing a good job following behind the fastest car out there on the track, David Halsey. Only a couple drivers a little faster than him. Steve Gerber with a 30.4 and Chris Leftwich with a 30.4. David Halsey with a 30.48. Definitely keep that in mind here, looking at the David Miz down on the bottom. couple of drivers almost taking a 3 wide here, but not quite just yet. And then definitely interesting to see is the some of these guys who got, I think, really put in their place last week are getting a huge wake-up call here tonight, as they're seeing what other things are happening here. As we're taking a look at the 64 of Matthew Nordberg on the bottom end. Mike Leftwich working on the outside of him here. Jennings has regathered the lead from Chris Leftwich. There may be a battle up here with Kevin Powell. Kevin Powell now taking a look. Down on the inside, putting Mollett atop side here. Looks like that Jimmy John Chevrolet starting to wake back up here, and that may be the setup he's running here. Is actually let this car come to him and don't try to outrun. So a lot of fast speed early in the race, but the key is longevity here. So far, so good out there on the track. I'm not seeing any issues out there with any of these drivers. It's definitely gonna be tough. I don't know about you guys out there in the chat. Tell me right now if you see anybody who's really fast out there. Tell me who you think it might be. I see Justin McMahon working in the 20 Chevrolet as they continue around the track here. Justin McMahon, top side. Look at that. All right, as these guys start lap 20. Only 120 more miles to go before the end of this one. Look at the number 3 of Jacob Reeves. Right now, Jacob Reeves sitting 9th in the points. Imagine he would like to be able to move up, sitting 7th now. All right, on the inside edge, taking a look at Matthew Nordberg and his Chevrolet. 21 going to hold the top side here, not allowing him to rotate up. Jacob Reeves might be okay with that. Number 21 of Kevin Thompson gets it, moves his forward, but not yet. Has to slack off just a little bit heading into 1. Man, oh man, good moves here so far. Appreciate you guys joining us here at SimTraX Broadcasting for the Doghouse Racing League. Definitely got a full plate this week. Have a day off tomorrow. We'll be broadcasting Saturday and Sunday. The Doghouse Racing League is the only league I am doing at the moment that is running an open setup, especially on these next-gen cars. So definitely something to keep in mind is how these guys flop back and forth with the kind of open and closed setups here, or open and fixed. Excuse me, and then kind of how it goes is being able to see after each update they start moving these cars around a little bit. So definitely you see how they add a setup here, and then they're able to tweak it and make it much faster than what they expect. Johnathan Jennings, once again, now leaving, and this looks a lot very familiar. Let's take a look out the back. Chris Leftwich way out there. So pit strategy may come into play, and it's something to see here is if we got, Chris Leftwich, Kevin Powell, his brother here, take a look at this. They may be running the same setup here. Powell's just not utilizing it as well. Jennings. But it looks like Kevin Powell battle for second here. Not just yet. There's Jennings, and here comes Powell and Chris Leftwich. Let's try to stay on these two guys as they're battling around the track. Back and forth they go. Wow, yeah, you can definitely see how that safer barrier around 3 and 4 kind of pops out right there. And some of those guys, I think, are almost getting bit right before they head. Oh, man, right before they head in. 64 almost sees it, Matthew Nordberg. Kevin Powell running the low line. I don't know what's the more favorable line here. Right now, Chris Leftwich showing the top line is it, because Matthew Nordberg goes ahead, gobbles up that draft, and he continues on around the 93 machine. So really on the back foot here. A good bit of these drivers are having definitely having some trouble out there. I wouldn't say it's terrible, but right now it's kind of the shuffle up here. I mean, Tyler Mollett has dropped down 3 positions here. You know, with McMahon. These guys are rotating around a whole bunch here, and it's trying to figure out where exactly they fit into the chop off here. I mean, Elite Southern Motorsports is doing a fantastic job right now. Right now, Johnathan Jennings is still leading the race. Kevin Powell's sitting 4th. I believe Stutzman is sitting 11th. And Jacob Reeves is sitting 8th. So right now, Stutzman is the only one outside the top 10 for the Elite Southern Motorsports team. Nordberg coming on late here. 9 positions up for him in the race. So we're coming up on 28 laps. And Jennings has over a 3.5 second lead on the field. This is crazy. Let's try to rotate back here to Millette. I think Millette's in some trouble here. Millette in the 94, kind of watching the 21 of Kevin Thompson walk on around him here. High side seems to be the fastest route. These guys have a lot of rotation in. They're able to carry a lot more speed through. As we're taking a look at Tyler Millette. Top side has the speed, but this is where I would be concerned. That slice here toward the inside, where Kevin Thompson is just kind of cutting off this front stretch here. Is seeming to get the distance he needs. And entering turn 1, he's able to pull away. So far, so good out of all the drivers. For that, really for that angle. Being able to get some speed. Let's see, David Halsey was on the move here, but Halsey has kind of slowed his roll here a little bit. Back down to 13th. Batting alongside Dustin Renstedel. 13th and 14th position we're looking at here. And it looks like Halsey on the outside, but he's just able to scoop around. Everything's squared off. I think we got a battle up here for the 2nd position, where Nordberg and Chris Leftwich were right side by side there for a moment. Oh, Nordberg had a little blink there. There we go. Let's move up to Chris Leftwich for a little solid look here at the battle that we've got going on. Let's see if we can get anything out of this, see if Chris Leftwich can hold him off. Big time moves here, as you see the 64 has now got 2nd. He's up 10 positions. Biggest mover of the race in the forward, in the positive area. Right now we got a few drivers that ended up dropping back, but pit stops have started for some, but not for all. Christopher Simon, Steve Gerber, Mike Samia, and Mike Leftwich have come down pit road already to between the laps of 21 and 26. Everyone else is still staying out. Definitely separation now. I want to go ahead and take a look at, let's say, Steve Gerber with a 30.94 out there, and Johnathan Jennings with a 32-second flat on their last lap time. So we'll keep kind of watch at the difference on those tires. So they're picking up over a second here on the track. Man, oh man, oh man. I think the battle still continues up here in this Kevin Thompson area. Kevin Thompson, Kevin Powell. Side by side, 21 and 93 here on your screen. Good looks here so far. 21 machines dialing it back. Sits behind the 13 now. 93 of Kevin Powell staying toward the top. Oh! Something happened there. A little checkup. Pit stops are starting now. Let's go ahead and talk about who's coming down. Eddie Rivers, Christopher Berger, Matthew Robinson. Right now, just about half the field is down pit. Matthew Robinson down. Christopher Berger. Matthew Escalera is down. Jackson Lomax is down. Man, oh man. Andrew St. Cour is down. Kevin Thompson. We saw Chris Leftwich coming down. I would probably think from this angle it would be suicide not taking 4 tires. So let's see. Ah, there we go. There's our leader. Johnathan Jennings coming down. And Justin McMahon is staying out. Check that out. Matthew Nordberg, Kevin Powell, Tyler Millette, Jason Miz, Jacob Reeves. And I got to admit, if you're kind of Justin McMahon here, I would probably hang out one more time and see if you can get an extra 5 bonus points for leading a lap. And that might actually help him out in the points running. Right now, McMahon is sitting 4th in points. Last race, he did have 5 bonus points. I think they get another 5 for leading the most. Stutzman may be thinking the same thing. Out front he goes. See if he can squeeze and get himself a couple more points. Stutzman had 5 points last time as well. So Stutzman in the 71 Chevrolet is holding the lead. But Jennings back out, sitting 4th. Right there. Wow. Yeah, not too much. I know it's showing everybody a lap down, but as soon as the leader comes in, that's going to undo everything and kind of reset it all over again. 2nd and 3rd place drivers are back in. McMahon and Armijo is down in the 20 Chevrolet and the 22 Toyota. And Stutzman, there we go, throws in the towel. That's going to be it for him. That moves us to Steve Gerber, who's sitting 2nd. Now, Gerber last pit on lap 25. So he didn't have to pit when the huge clutch of cars came in, and he's one of the early pitters. So far, I think he's only going to have about a second, maybe less than that. Maybe less than that, because I think the 91 of Johnathan Jennings sitting right behind him here. Gerber going to get himself about 5 points for leading the lap here. There we go, because he may fall victim to Johnathan Jennings, who has 9 laps fresher tires here. And the Juggernaut Chevrolet. So now reeling him in. Gerber kind of watching out the back saying, no, don't catch me yet. I need to lead a few laps here. Gerber able to hold him off. Number 8 Ford to Steve Gerber, Budweiser machine looking really good here. Johnathan Jennings seeing if he can roll him in. Reel him in. Taking a look off the nose here of Johnathan Jennings. Interesting to see how low Johnathan Jennings is dropping down here on the track. Kind of goes out there, and I think I would probably coin a phrase from the Racing Revolution driver, Robert Rader. He is a glutton for fresh air. Get down on the bottom, you see that fresh air, he's able to dive his way in and get back onto the track. So everything A-okay. And I think we may see the lead get swapped over here. And Johnathan Jennings drops to the bottom, uses the draft from the A to Steve Gerber, slides to the bottom, rotates up, and Johnathan Jennings regains the lead. So this is much like what we saw last week at Indianapolis. So that is going to be a big time boost of confidence here for Johnathan Jennings. Next week, these guys actually head to Kentucky Speedway at night for 100 laps there. We'll see if Johnathan Jennings and his winning streak will end. I know I'm not saying Johnathan Jennings is going to win it right now, but he is now starting to put distance on the field again. And it just seems he has this car hooked up. Now, how much time he puts on the track, I've got to dig a little more into that, because that 91 Chevrolet is just doing what he does best and really leading the field here and not even looking back. 5 drivers down a lap already. Chris Schaefer, Mike and Chris Leftwich, Jeremiah Stutzman, and Gary Armijo. I think some of these guys may be praying for a caution to see if they can get back onto the lead lap. Chris Schaefer right now would be the one to get the lucky dog, if he can get the wave around. Right now, I think the Shoney's team getting a little, getting the wrong end of the stick here. Mike Samia now 13th position. Showing a number 3 on his car, but I've got a 44 here, so maybe we'll try to get a couple of those squared away. Mike Samia in the 44 Chevrolet, good wrench car. Looks like we're sporting both Earnhardt Sr. and Jr. out there. Yeah, Mike Samia doing a lot better this week. 13th is where he is now. Last week was 18th, so continuing the charge here so far for Mike Samia. Up 10 positions, so I got to admit, you start in 23rd, you sit in 13th, not too bad. So obviously he's got to be feeling pretty confident about where he is Now, Christopher Simon. I want to say Christopher Simon now. Now, he's up 11 positions. He's the biggest mover at the race at this point in time. But the way I'm looking at it here is Christopher Simon just lost a position here to Matthew Nordberg. Simon last pit on 26. He was kind of on that same Steve Gerber pit cycle. So he's going to be falling victim to a lot of drivers here. You watch Kevin Thompson now on the inside of him, getting ready to slice on the inside, and Kevin Powell will be right after that. So we're seeing how the difference in, lap times here. Christopher Simon his last time, let me see if we can go ahead and pop this up for you. His last time was a 31.7, and Kevin Powell's running a 30.8. So almost a second faster for Kevin Powell in the 93 Chevrolet. So big time starting to kind of watch the rest of the field kind of turn in on itself. You're going to watch the flat guys who was in the front are now moving back. Jason Miz here in the number 6. Well, in 6th position, sitting in the number 24. Got a couple numbers mixed me up here. 24, 7, Chevrolet in the 6th. Yes. Tyler Mollett, top side, 5th place he's got. He's down 3 positions here in the race. He's got a lot of work to do in his Chevrolet here. And Skull Candy, we saw him battling up front. Matthew Nordberg has got a lot of work to do, almost 4 seconds he's got to make up on Johnathan Jennings. I think everybody would probably say if Johnathan Jennings could kind of clip that wall a little bit, give it a little kiss there, that might make it a little even here, because now he's starting to pull away by 3 1/4 seconds, almost 4. Jennings able to rotate that bottom side, and I'm wondering if some of these guys, kind of about that red mark on the turn, let off the gas about a quarter of the way and rotate down to the bottom, see if they can make a catch up. And Nordberg, the only one sitting second, able to have a chance. Thompson and Powell back at it, battling again. Not too many battles here. We are seeing everybody just about single file here. We're going to rotate back here to Andrew St. Coeur. St. Coeur now sitting 12th. Matthew Escalera sitting 12th. St. Coeur 13th. As it looks like Escalera is sliding underneath the 60 machine. He will not be gaining a position. Mike Leftwich is a lap down. Eddie Rivers has fallen down to 18th. Christopher Berger down to 16th. He originally started in the 13th position. So I know we're talking a little bit about it now, but we are just now reaching where Johnathan Jennings is halfway through the race, and we've got guys that are laps down. We've got guys that are falling off by over 4 1/4 seconds here as Jennings continues to lead the race here at Chicagoland. I would wonder what kind of tracks he is not good at and set the schedule up for against him, because right now this would be off-putting right now, because Johnathan Jennings in the 91 Chevrolet here continuing to pull away. I mean, another 1/10 of a second here this lap. So where I would be kind of keeping an eye out for is where in the world is he picking up this kind of speed? Because in section 1, he's got about another 1/10 of a second there, section between turns 1 and 2. So definitely big time speed here on Johnathan Jennings. So once again, man, boom. Another 31.5 seconds, another lap down. So just continuing to churn. But I believe pit road is starting to heat up again. Steve Gerber back down pit road again. And Christopher Simon. Christopher Simon, see if he can switch it up here just a little bit for Shoney's race and see if he can get back out on top. Right now showing 17th and on his way down. Some of these guys I think will be some laps down here as they're crossing the crossing now. Crossing across. Now, come on, Patrick. Oh, man. Yeah, Matthew Nordberg kind of looking back at Kevin Thompson. I think he's feeling pretty confident that 21 Great Clips Ford is just going to hang back there. So far, the best Ford in the field. Next one is outside the top 10. St. Croix is working his way back up. 71 of Jeremiah Stutzman is a lap down, so he can go ahead on around the number 12 of St. Croix. Back and forth battle here. I know normally here at SimTraX when we end up with a caution, we kind of watch these guys come down pit road. We're able to have a little watch different pit strategies, things like that. Kind of see different angles of how these drivers take on. Like if a caution would happen now, I guarantee you everybody comes back down. If they did come down for tires, they'll only come down for fuel and go. That way they can stretch, because last thing we want to do is have to short pit again. And then we're able to have conversations with the drivers. But seeing that these guys have gone 55, almost 56 laps now under green without a hiccup is something here. I mean, I know this is amazing. Obviously, this seems to be a big time moves here so far. Tuesday with the Coast to Coast Racing League, we went 75 laps at Nashville. No cautions. I had 10 cautions last night at Bristol. But that was 250 laps of the Racing Revolution League. A lot of net code there. And right now I'm looking at 56 laps under green. And, I mean, no one showing... I mean, everybody giving everybody room here. There's no bumping and banging. That's exactly what you want to see. And this just goes to show you kind of the guys who are returning and the new ones out here. And everybody's kind of just trying to figure out, because there's gonna be some hiccups out there. I'm sure there's gonna be somebody's gonna make a mistake, but I don't know when, and if anybody's gonna make a mistake out there. This is just the back and forth battles out here, and just no one seems to be getting really Johnathan Jennings and being able to put their thumb on him. I mean, Johnathan Jennings has broken out to a 5-second lead here. Matthew Nordberg up 10. But he's sitting second, and he's going to have to figure out, I don't know if Nordberg may consider short pitting. If he can come in and only throw right sides on to save that 5 seconds and kind of reel Johnathan Jennings in, but if he's able to make that kind of separation, Jennings takes 4 tires, Jonathan's going to be able to pull away in his 91 Chevrolet and just leave him again, and now you're down a couple sets of tires. Look around the field here a little bit. Take a look and see how everybody's doing. David Hulsey. Let's kind of rotate back to David Hulsey. Now, we saw him in the 57 Chevrolet earlier here in the race, and he was on the big time move here, but he's kind of fallen victim to the track. Back down to 15th. It is up 5 spots from where he started. It's just, I'm wondering if this track is not rotating around for him. Let's see if we can take a ride along with him and see if anything's different between him and Jennings. As I say that, it looks like he might be coming in for a pit stop. Oh, man. Ooh, yeah, definitely trying to slow down to make sure you can make that pit lane time. Don't want to speed in. That could definitely ruin your race. You know, a couple drivers sped down pit lane last week, and that folded their race upside down. Kevin Thompson still in front of Kevin Powell. If there's one thing we've got here, it's a lot of Chris's. Chris's and Mike's. No, that's for sure. Chris's, Mike's, and Matthews. I think I've got 3 Matthews. I've got 1, 2, 3. I think 4 Christophers. So we're going to try to make sure we stay on top of all of them out here to keep it under control. Right now, the only Johnathan out here is the one who is in the lead. 91 Chevrolet, 6-second lead now. And kind of trying to take it in at this point. Let's see if we can find The 91 you see here entering turn 1 on the track is where Johnathan is. The number 64, you see the black circle is behind the 36. That's how far second place is back. And that is what 6.25 seconds will do. So the separation between first and second. Right now, the way Johnathan Jennings is driving, if I were Matthew Nordberg, I would be completely happy with a second place finish, because right now, Jennings is driving just amazing. Amazing right now, because it just seems to be so fluid. Let's see if I can take a ride along with Johnathan Jennings here. Now, the biggest thing I want everybody to take away from this one, notice in the dash, kind of see underneath that RPM gauge, you see that number 4? He is not shifting to 5th gear. There's no 5th gear shift here, and I wonder if that's how he has set this up. And some of these guys, that might be his leg up here. He's got the acceleration out. I mean, Nordberg is now falling down to 7 seconds here. So let's rotate to Matthew Nordberg, see if we can get inside his car. Now notice he is a 5th position on that dashboard. So fuel savings wise, Nordberg should have a few extra laps, but Johnathan Jennings looks like he's set up the gear ratio to expect that 4th gear car. So I think, to me, if any of these guys tune back into the broadcast, that is where Johnathan Jennings is starting to beat this field. He has the acceleration, he's got the engine RPMs to launch and maintain that kind of speed in 4th gear all race. We saw this exactly at Indianapolis. He stayed in 4th all race, and we even talked to him during the piece, and I don't think he'd think I was going to notice, but I did. But very, very close, as these guys may have to take into consideration, how do I knock down Johnathan Jennings and his 7.5 second lead here and kind of make it closer. So let's take a look back here. Kevin Powell now on the outside of it. Looks like, if I'm not, yeah, that should be David Halsey here. But Halsey has come down pit lap 59. Couple more pits. Guys pitting. Eddie Rivers down pit now. Ren Stedel and Christopher Berger are down pit now. Matthew Nordberg, there we go, 2nd place. And here's what I want to do. I want to kind of stick here with Matthew Nordberg in the 64. He's been sitting 2nd this whole time. What is he thinking about doing something different to kind of reel Johnathan Jennings in here? All right. Here's the first set. What happens now? As soon as we know, there you go. So you know exactly what happens now. So, a few other drivers coming down pit, and it should be heating up here pretty soon. Pit lane now starting to get stacked. A couple of drivers coming down. Kevin Thompson and Powell coming down. Matthew Robinson, St. Croix, Lomax, and Leftwich are down as well. Robinson on his way out of pit. St. Croix on his way out. Man, oh man. Definitely mixing it up. And our leader, Johnathan Jennings, coming down pit now. Here he comes. Johnathan Jennings still in the lead. Got to be happy about getting that squeeze out there as Jacob Reeves takes the lead here. And he may try to see if he can squeeze it out toward the end of this run. 30 laps left to go here at Chicagoland. Johnathan Jennings already coming out of pit. Jacob Reeves coming in. Johnathan Jennings remaining in 2nd position. Steve Gerber last pit on lap 50, 19 laps ago. Here comes Steve Gerber. Gerber going ahead and getting 2nd place. I don't know if he kissed it off the wall there a little bit. But the 91 about to show you what fresh tires do is he's going to put that number 8 in the rear view and not look back. Jennings continuing to pull away here. Reeves should have himself a lead lap. So maybe 5 bonus points there for Reeves, as Reeves is now going to start falling out of the top 5, most likely out of the top 10, as he is coming out of pit road. Big time checkup here. Johnathan Jennings remains in the lead, and he's now going to pull away. He's got half a second on Steve Gerber, but like I said, that 19 lap difference on tires is going to make the difference. I think the only thing that may help Gerber is a caution come back down for a set of tires. That would set him in the back of the field, at least level the playing field. Jason Miz, who's in the 7 Chevrolet, has at least got him within 2.5 seconds. And Matthew Nordberg, who pit on 67, sitting 4th. So continuing the charge out here. I know Stella out there may change their name to the C&M League. That must be for the Chris and Michael. I don't think so. I don't think so. Doghouse suits them just fine. There's one thing I can see. They're definitely getting at it here. Jennings getting pulled away again. Gerber's falling down to 3rd. Now Gerber about to be kind of lunch meat here for Nordberg, and it should be Powell here, but that is not. Powell way back there. Looks like the SRM Concrete. Nordberg gets around, gets 3rd. Nordberg's been on a pretty good tear all race. He's going to see if he can get Jason Miz. Jason Miz down, is up 9 positions, but he pit on lap 65. Will 2 laps matter on his last pit stop? Matter? I don't think so. No one down pit road didn't take 4 tires. Stutzman is down pit. There we go. There's the second set. So 4 tires for Jeremiah Stutzman. Everybody about that 15-second limit. I will say, Kevin Thompson, we saw him rotating around up there in the front, but he had a 55-second pit stall time. If I were to guess, somebody was speeding. I think he probably sped coming down pit road. Because he spent 1:21 in pit lane. And that's just not in the box. He had 55 seconds in the box. So he sped into pit lane, and that is going to kind of undo Kevin Thompson's race. Thompson doing well so far, sitting 6th in the points. And he may have to retry at Kentucky next week. Rotate up here to Nordberg. Battling here so far. Not seeing anything interesting. Nordberg kind of getting those RPMs up there. I will say, Nordberg, the fastest on the track. His top speed out here has been over 212 miles an hour. So whatever Nordberg is doing, he's able to get the draft and get slung into these turns, but super, super fast. That's why I've kind of got his dashboard up here. Jason Miz, 210. Johnathan Jennings, 208 with their top speed here. Let's see if we can pop it up here, see if we can see them kind of top out. See if the tires are wearing down here just a little bit. They may or may not be able to squeeze that kind of time again. Yeah, all these drivers out there on the track pretty spread out now. Miz is at least trying to hold Jennings from getting away too much here. 30 laps to go when Jennings came out, about lap 69. Had him about a 2-second lead. Now Jennings has another second on that. Rotate back here to Tyler Mollett, who's lost 4 positions here, down to 6th. Trying to see if he can hold off Jacob Reeves, who's sitting in the number 3 right behind him. Moving. Guys out there in the chat, go ahead and light it up. Tell me what you think's going on here. Interesting to see, almost 100 laps here. 79 to be exact, all under green. So great racing here out of the Doghouse Racing League. If you guys are considering coming out here and racing with them, if you think you're that, you're good or you're so big and bad, go ahead and give it a shot. Be able to come out and give it a look. SimTraxBroadcasting.com is where you got to go. You'll find the Doghouse Racing League and the link there to their Facebook and be able to sign up. Daniel Wilkerson or Kevin Powell is your man, and they'll be able to get you squared away out there and put you on the track. Of course, Jacob Reeves, as we're talking about that, goes ahead and takes Tyler Mollett, sends him down another position. And Reeves just trying to get one more positions here so he can at least get a top 5 finish. He's got a good bit of work to do as he is over 2.5 seconds behind Justin McMahon. So McMahon has lost 2 positions. Jacob Reeves has lost 1. Escalera and Renstedel are both of those guys 10th and 11th are up 11 positions. I'm waiting to see if Nordberg can reel in Jason Miz, and he is. Taking a look at him in that 24 Chevrolet here. Staying top side. 36 to Christopher Berger, sliding in behind him here. Berger is right behind them. Let's see if we can take a little look out the top end of his car. And the battle is happening in front of him. Miz down on the up on the top, and that looks like Nordberg got him on the bottom. Slid underneath, up toward the top, contact with the wall. Miz makes the move. That is not what Nordberg needed. Nordberg, big lick into the wall here. And he's going to be kind of licking his wounds here, continuing on to this race. Let's see if I can get drone footage out there. I may be able to see Miz and take a look out the back and see if we got any damage in front of that 64. Like 64 might be okay, maybe just a slight lick. Nordberg going to have some trouble if he's bent that car up. Doesn't even look like any sort of paint damage. We saw the sparks as he slid out of 4 into the wall. But everything A-okay. We're talking about this back and forth battle here for second position. 5 seconds behind Jennings. I know I've been talking about Jennings a good bit here. Ooh, contact. 57 machine to David Holsey saying, nope, excuse me, guys, out of my way. He pit on lap 75. So he took the tires a lot later than everybody else, so he's going to go ahead and slide on around. He's a couple laps back now. Holsey down 2. So let's keep our eyes on Nordberg, still trying to get Jason Miz here. Oh, man, does he got it. There we go. Looks like Christopher Berger in the 36 Toyota going to see if he can assist Nordberg to get pushed on through so it's not side-by-side racing. The more they're side-by-side, the more they're losing time to Jennings, and I think they've kind of figured that out. Another 1.5 seconds off. As you can see, 2 laps gone, another 1.5 seconds gone as they're side-by-side. But there is no way these guys are catching Johnathan Jennings unless he makes a big, big mistake here. So Nordberg getting second place. Miz falls victim. And Kevin Powell now sees his opening. He's going to take that chance. Now, where in the world is Christopher Berger? And is he going to assist Kevin Powell around? I would say no. Kevin Powell looks like he's doing fine just himself. Top speed is of late 215 miles an hour out of that 93. Man, oh man, 2:14 that lap as he continues the charge here. Down on the bottom, Kevin Powell. Oh man, excellent move here. 64 machine watching him. Getting that outside line. Can Kevin Powell put him in the rear view? Around the outside he goes. Taking a look on the outside. He's got him. Rear view you go. So Kevin Powell has moved up 2 positions in the race, and his Chevrolet now gets the second position as Matthew Nordberg is now watching his hopes of a podium position start slipping away here as he drops another position down to 3rd. Laps completed here at Chicagoland as we get around the track a couple more times here before we'll be under 10 to go. We're taking a look here at Kevin Powell in the 93 Chevrolet. He seems to be A-okay out there. It seems that the pit stall time of that 15.5 seconds on lap 68 worked out just perfectly for him as he's able to get back on top and come in as of late. So his tire conservation is paying off here way, way late into the race. Jason Miz still having a trouble there on the top side as the number 20 car is working underneath of him. Oop, man. Yeah, Matthew Nordberg trying to block off Justin McMahon. Talk about that. Justin McMahon kind of resurrecting his race here, down bottom side. McMahon last pit on 69, same time as Johnathan Jennings. Oh, man. Almost makes contact with Miz here. And holy cow, Justin McMahon. Big-time speed here, late stages of the race. Slides in the third. Nordberg out of the podium position. Nordberg in the 64. You're starting to question if this, right now, if he has lost, too much tire life here on this run, battling alongside Jason Miz there for about 3-4 laps. If he's fried these tires off, and Jason Miz may go ahead and give him a little pop here. We've seen a little bit of contact. As it looked like Miz may have gotten a little loose, and McMahon slid underneath. So McMahon, starting in third, is now back in third. But McMahon has got to make up about almost a second and a quarter here to catch up to Kevin Powell if he wants to get any more than this. Nordberg sitting fourth. Tyler Mollett, he's fallen down 5 positions here, sitting 7th. Matthew Robinson, not too bad out of him here tonight. I know his paint scheme is a little fumbled up here. I know if we take a look at it on the bottom, that's what it should look like. But you got to love a third-party trading paints out there doing their best. But he's right now sitting 8th, up 9 positions here tonight. So another top 10 finish here from Matthew Robinson. Andrew St. Coeur, I kind of had my money him doing pretty well, sitting 9th, up 7 positions. And Escalera and Dustin Rensettle, not too bad here, out of sitting 10th and 11th. Big time drop down. Mike Leftwich, unfortunately, in the 60 Chevrolet, down to 21st. He lost 15 spots. Eddie River and Chris Leftwich have both lost 11 positions down to the bottom. Now, definitely a good switch up. We see some people just, I would probably say pit strategy may have sunk them early. But they'll have another shot to try it next week at Kentucky. They'll be heading to the Legacy track. That should be a good run there. Johnathan Jennings, I think this one's all but over. He may be able to go ahead and let off the gas between 3 and 4 and still win this one. As he has now made that stretch out to over 8 seconds now. McMahon starting to shave off a little more time here, trying to see if he can just reach out and get that 93 Chevrolet, but so far to go. Looking out the front, that's his target now. Gets good rotate in, shaved off about a 10th on that turn. I don't know if he's got enough time to kind of squeeze it in and get him this late in the race. Back here, I think Miz and Nordberg back at it again. These guys will remain in the top 5 whether they pass back and forth or not. But this may allow Jacob Reeves to start catching up. Jacob Reeves watching it happen in front of him. That's exactly what he wants. 24 and the 64 next to each other. And Reeves is going to see if he can capitalize. Miz capitalizes on Nordberg. And Nordberg pretty attached to that position as for the past few laps. Number 3 of Jacob Reeves. He's taking tires back on lap 70. Don't know if they're going to help him into the final stages of the race. 4 laps to go here. Johnathan Jennings still getting away. And we may be crowning him the winner here at Chicagoland. Guys, don't forget you can go to the Doghouse Racing League Facebook page if you're looking to sponsor any one of these races out here. Go ahead and get in contact with Kevin Powell or Daniel Wilkerson and be able to get your name out here on the track. Last week was the Indianapolis 140. Oh, man, let's take a look here. Contact with Jacob Reeves and Nordberg. Nordberg trying to hold on to the top 5 here, and I don't know. It looked like Jacob Reeves backed out of it big time because Nordberg was playing huge defense. And Reeves couldn't afford that. I don't know if I'd have let off on that one. 64 making an aggressive block. And Reeves falling off huge now, about half a second. 2 laps to go. Can Reeves reel him back in and try one more time? He's going to see if he can get him here. Not quite enough speed. Nordberg seeing if he can take another peek here on Jason Miz. White flag. Rotate out here just a little bit. Don't think Nordberg's got anything for us. So what happens, happens. Hopefully nobody gets stuck in there and somebody spun around here. But they'll keep an eye on it right now. Nordberg closing the gap. Rotate up here to Johnathan Jennings. Jennings taking home the win at Chicagoland. Oof! Shot for the 71 of Jeremiah Stutzman. Boy, he's going to not be happy about that. McMahon third. Kevin Powell nailed second. I want to see where Miz and Nordberg end up. All right, Miz and Nordberg, fourth and fifth. That is going to do it. Excellent job. 100 laps at Chicagoland, caution-free. Stella out there in the chat, I know you've been with me through many, many races as a viewer and a broadcaster on Wednesday nights. What do you think about that one? Good Lord. Yeah, the only thing we saw there right at the end. The only thing we saw right there at the end was Stutzman making contact with a wall. I kind of want to reach back and grab a hold of that and figure out what what happened here. See if something got loose, if contact was made, or what happened here. Let's see if we can find maybe a top view here from the side. Yes, we do. Let's take a look at it. Taking a look at the 71 shooting the gap. Looks like Eddie Rivers here on the bottom. Boy, he's coming through with a lot of speed. Right behind the three of Jacob Reeves. Oh! Clink. Yeah, I may have gone ahead and net-coded Eddie Rivers there just a little bit. Yeah, I am not seeing any sort of, really from our angle here, if anything kind of happened to Stutzman right at the end. Let's see if we can take a ride along with him live time and see what happens. Stutzman last pit back on lap 72. So he had a heck of a run here. That went ahead and kind of did him in, unfortunately. So Justin McMahon third, Kevin Powell second, Johnathan Jennings. Another win, got another clinic put on here, and definitely an awesome job. I'm interested to see what he has to say, because once again, the stretch out to really conquer this one and get squared away and peel away from this one was an awesome job here today. I'm interested to see what all they've got here on this one. Let's see if we can get a hold of Justin McMahon here. Let's see, Justin McMahon, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Oh, man, what a wild race this was here tonight. Talk to me about what was the hardest part that you noticed here at Chicagoland?
Trying to save tires. Between that and, saving a little bit of fuel, there's a little bit of strategy with fuel also. But besides that, it was mostly just trying to fight a tight race car there. As the run went on, just trying to figure out how to loosen it up and keep it consistent.
Were you finding anything that was, getting it a little looser? You were at least able to get back to where you qualified, at least back to a third position podium. I mean, what was kind of the key to getting it, just freed up enough to get some more speed under the car?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I think the way the setup was just, going further into night. I think that might have helped with the track temp dropping a little bit. Plus, messed around with the tire pressures a little bit too. I think that helped also, but trying to back up my entries a little bit as well. Just that seemed to have helped a little bit also.
All right, looking at Jeremiah Stutzman with a 23rd place finish. You sitting third. You are fourth, and he's third in the points. This should go ahead and get you guys a little bit of a flip-flop. Don't take my word on it. I think you might have 5 bonus points for leading the lap. I knew you pit a little bit late on one of them, so I think
Yep.
this may go ahead and move you into a third place position, sitting in the points. So where I'm going with this is Legacy. We're heading to Kentucky next week. How confident are you heading to that track, saying that we head to another 1.5 miles?
Um, if I remember correctly, last year when we went there last season, I think I finished pretty decent. I like the 1.5 mile tracks, and the biggest thing is just practicing up, leading up to the race. I think we'll be all right. I think I'll finish in the beside the top 10 hopefully.
All right, man. Definitely awesome to see. You guys went 100 laps caution free. Definitely green flag stops are a huge, huge factor here in this league. And I think a lot of guys have to get used to that. But great job tonight.
Yeah.
Third place finish. Go ahead and give me your shout outs here.
Yeah, you guys for putting on a hell of a broadcast. It's great to have you guys on board this season. It's been fun to watch. At least even just the first race you guys did. It's been awesome. Congrats to Johnathan on the win, and Group 6 Interactive for the sponsor on my car.
Excellent. Justin McMahon, we'll talk a little bit about that in your next one when you get the win, because I want to know a little bit more about that sponsor. And another one, man, we got to figure out what Jennings is doing. I'm gonna try to work it out of him, man. It was something here tonight. Great job tonight.
I'd like to figure it out. Allison, thank you.
All right, everybody. Justin McMahon, third place finish. Kevin Powell has slid himself into second. And this looks very, very familiar here. Let's go ahead and get a hold of Kevin Powell. Kevin, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. How you doing, Patrick?
Man, what a race. And that's one thing that really gets me here about the Doghouse Racing League is I kind of want to throw it back here just a little bit. 100 laps caution free. I mean, is this normal here?
Yes, sir. We run caution free a lot of races. We all have our mistakes every now and then, and we do get a caution, but majority of the time it's just hard, clean, fun racing.
Man, but what a wild run it is here. This looks like a pretty big redo of what we saw last week. I mean, what is going on with you and Johnathan here? You guys just have so much speed, and once again come out, I believe, with a 1-2 finish.
Yeah, so me and Jonathan, we're full-blooded brothers. A lot of people don't know it because our last names are different. But he's just carrying on a family legacy with that last name. So we're brothers, man. We work together every single night. Every night, and it's not just us two. I mean, we gotta shout out our teammates and our friends that come in and work with us as well, like Justin. I think all of us that work together finished pretty much in the top 10, and that's what it takes, man. You just gotta practice and put the time in and work together each week. Unfortunately, Daniel can't make it tonight. He's sick, so but he would have been up here with us, I'm for sure. And it just comes down to working hard every night. It's unfortunate for some of the guys. I think they got some penalties on pit road or something that were really fast, but man, we race hard and we have fun.
Yeah, definitely hard to find time for you guys to practice. I know you guys run Tuesday, you guys run Sundays. It's just so you guys definitely have a packed schedule. It's not just the next gen series here that you guys kind of clump together, but having enough time to practice, put the time in, and get going here. We talked to Justin McMahon a little bit, and he said the car was getting tight. Did you feel the same thing out there?
Oh yes, sir, 100%. After about 15 laps, it got a little front end push to it off the corner. Right around 25 to 30 laps, right when we were pitting, it was really pushing bad. I was probably 3/4 of the turn before I was back on the gas completely.
Alrighty. Well, some of a hint for some of those other guys out there. What would be a good adjustment to try to free up the car a little bit and hopefully for a little better rotation?
To free up the car for rotation, if you're in the race and you only got really one option, and I find it's best to free the car up with air pressure in the race. If you're practicing and you notice the car is a little tight, you can work on your ride heights, maybe some springs, or the front arb arms, the preloads, you can adjust them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was going to say everything, but kind of in race, man. What do you do? Because I was going to say, don't tell me, add 2 pounds. I was just, hey, what do we do? Air pressure is obviously the first way to go. Awesome job here tonight. We head to Kentucky next week. I'm sure you're feeling pretty confident about that, so I will let you get to that. Kevin, give me your shout-outs, man.
Yeah, man. So first, I'd like to shout out you for the broadcast, man. We really enjoy having you. I want to shout out Shoney's for sponsoring the league. They're a big help each week and every season. Shout out all the admins at Doghouse, and yeah, shout out my team and actually all the drivers in the league as well. I feel like this is one of the best leagues on the platform. We try really hard.
Yeah, definitely. I know reading the rule book, you guys definitely tighten them up. You don't take a whole lot of slack, slag on the side, but you definitely bring a different class of racing here, especially to an open setup run. Kevin Powell in the 93 Chevrolet. Glad to see that. Jimmy John's back in a podium position. I'll see you next week.
Yes, sir, Patrick. Have a good one.
You too. All right, everybody. We're going to hear a little bit from our sponsors here momentarily, and we'll be right back. The Doghouse Cup Series is proud to be sponsored by Shoney's. Shoney's is today's all-American kitchen, open daily for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Shoney's guests can count on quality, delicious food along with warm, friendly service. Stop by one of West Virginia's locations to try their freshly prepared legendary breakfast bar. And don't forget to take home a whole strawberry pie. Shoney's, delicious food and friendly service since 1947. All right, everybody, and that moves us to our race winner here for tonight, Johnathan Jennings. Once again, back-to-back wins. I think it would probably be dumb to ask you about Kentucky next week. I'm sure you're looking at another first-place finish there.
No, I don't. Nothing's guaranteed. Just got to work on my driving and hitting my lines right.
All right, well, taking a look at, we took a little ride along with you once again here, John, and I noticed we've got some different things, and I think anybody tuning in to the broadcast is going to start taking notes about how in the world you come out only about, a second and a half ahead on a pit stop, and you pull away by almost 8 seconds here without shifting into fifth gear. I think that's kind of the big key. Is that what makes you fast out there?
No, I could have the same. I could run the same RPMs with a fifth gear, but I don't too much flat 5-gear setup, to be honest. Just one less step I got to take to get to my, top speed.
Okay. I didn't know if any kind of different gearing, between the rear end and the transmission would help you with the acceleration points, because your roll in was smooth. And the way you just accelerate back on, I'm just wondering if it doesn't have enough low end to pull out of there, because we watched many guys out there, Tyler Millette. We watched Dustin Renstedel out there. We saw Steve Gerber. All these guys were in fifth gear except you. I mean, is that what you do for 90% of your races out there?
Yeah, most times. Sometimes I'll even run third gear, depending on the size of the track. Just that's what I'm comfortable with, and like I can do the same thing with fifth gear. Just you just got to match the RPMs with the gear.
Alrighty. Well, taking a look at this entire, most of these guys here for the podium positions here, Justin McMahon and Kevin Powell, they all said their cars got tight tonight. Were you running into the same problem, or you were able to make the adjustments to continue remaining the fastest car on the track?
No, I made adjustments before the race. I was counting on it getting tighter, but it actually got looser for me, because I went a little too far with loosening it up, but it worked out. So.
Oh, wow. Awesome. Man, it's definitely interesting to see just, kind of really how you were able to make the separation from the rest of the field. Not too much lap traffic you were running into. How nervous were you, coming down pit road, and where you would emerge back out onto the onto the track?
The exit wasn't too bad. The entry is really tricky here. I almost messed up on my second stop, but it was sketchy.
All right. Well, we're probably looking at another 10 10 more bonus points, probably for a lap led, and then leading the most, obviously. And you head into Legacy, Kentucky next week. Definitely should be a good setup for you. I'm floored at this point, just seeing how far you were able to make the separation from the rest of the field here. At not what at a 2.5 mile track, and now at a 1.5 miles. We head to another 1.5 miles next week, and I think we're gonna see a lot of the same. Some of these guys are gonna put up a fight. And I'm wondering if any of them are going to ask you to EOL yourself at the beginning of the race to try to make it a little tougher.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of fast guys in here. They'll get me.
Alrighty, well, they're going to have plenty of chances to do it, but not tonight. Go ahead and give me your shout-outs here, Johnathan.
You guys for the broadcast, Daniel and all the admins for the races each week, and all my teammates, man. Without them, I couldn't do all this by myself. All
right, man. Great job tonight. I know your teammates being Jacob Reeves, Jeremiah Stutzman, and Kevin Powell for the Elite Southern Motorsports team. Great job tonight, Johnathan, and I'll catch up with you next week.
All right, thank you.
All right, everybody. Johnathan Jennings, another win here. Chevrolet's all for the top 8. One Ford being Andrew St. Cour sitting 9th, and Dustin Renstedel in 10th. Definitely a good squeeze through there. We'll kind of get see if we can find let me see if I can find something here. See if I can find you guys some results, because that's what I'm looking for. There we go. Kind of the race results out there on the screen. Where everybody placed out there tonight. See if you can find your favorite driver out there. I know a lot of guys big time moves up. Justin Renstedel up 12, Matthew Escalera up 10. But we had some guys drop down. Mike Leftwich down 15th into 21. Eddie Rivers down 12 in the 20th. And Chris Leftwich down 11 into 18th. So definitely good shuffle-ups here on the field. Everybody having a good chance to get their rounds out there. But, man, it is just so hard here at Chicagoland. But Johnathan Jennings made it look easy. Appreciate you guys once again joining us here at SimTraX Broadcasting. It was an awesome job here tonight. I appreciate each and every one of you for joining us. We were at Indianapolis last week, and we were at Chicagoland tonight. Kentucky's where we'll be on Thursday. Don't forget, SimTraxBroadcasting.com. If you're looking to join this league or any other league that I broadcast, that's where you can find them. Out there in the chat, I appreciate you guys out there, Stella, especially you, having the chat out there, and Diggs. By the way, Seven and Matthew Robinson, you guys out there in the chat, and Jamie Shaw, appreciate you guys joining us. I know a quick answer. You asked, how does he not redline? Set that gear up in the back nut to redline. That's what he would do. He would end up setting the gearing much lower. That way it wouldn't top out on the engine side. Should be a good showing. Season opener for the Graceland Shootout Series will be on Saturday. Definitely excited to see how they get going at Auto Club for the next round. Starting that one, it should only be about 35 laps in that one. So these guys are going to run and gun it in the Gander Outdoor trucks. And that's going to do it for us here tonight. Be well, be safe, be kind. And Patrick Morrison, we'll see you next time.